Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final round of the 1993 Formula One World Championship live from Adelaide here in Australia. The seventh season of VFU competition, and the final round where 6 points separate Jules Bouchard and Lewis Wedding, our title protagonists, that was last seen live from the tumultuous Italian Grand Prix, where there was a restart and a scrutineering disqualification. There's been no disqualifications of the sort here, and no true drama as of late. Although the Japanese Grand Prix saw Lewis finish, I believe, an uncharacteristic third place, no, he's finished second actually. So not really, hasn't been winning races as of late. Has been perpetually finishing second, but it was Jules with an uncharacteristic fifth place as his teammate Nicholas Kirsten won that race with pole in Japan. So 66 points is Lewis Wedding, 60 points is Jules Bouchard, and 50 points is Nicholas Kirsten, the super sub for Williams. Salvatore Sirignano with 24 points isn't present tonight. Alexei Spirichev with 20 points is here. Since Matthew's retirement from the series, we'll move on to Ronan Griffin with 8 points, who is present tonight, followed by Owen Potter with 6 points. He will be racing tonight as well. Then there's a myriad of people with 5 points. Yoni Covisto, Moises Pereira, Nick Holliday, all have 5 points. Lewis Reese Burton, who is not present tonight. Carol Ostrolek and Alberto Saltori. Carol has 5 points, Alberto has 3. So many drivers out here tonight looking to improve their points tally. We know that Williams can wrap up their third constructors title in history for VFU tonight. Lewis could get his 6th world drivers title. This will be the end of the analog era for VFU, with all of the 90s years being covered except for 1992 and 1998. So, this is the culmination of 2 years of successful league running and the fiercest grid in history. We have 16 drivers tonight for, I believe, 39 laps. I was going to say 38. 39 laps. We'll be going very shortly, in about 6 minutes, as cars are on track warming up. Looking at the main straight here, where we will see the iconic flagman in the yellow jacket definitely wave off the end of the 1993 season, whether that be Lewis Wedding title champion or Jules Bouchard remains to be seen. Jules needs to win, and I think he needs Lewis to do no better than, I believe, 4th place. It could be 4th place, could be the minimum. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. We'll see if his teammate helps him in that endeavor. So we'll go down to the track very shortly and see the kind of drivers who are currently on track at the moment. The timing is with Evgeny Sidorenko of Lotus currently. He's had a good season, a couple of good finishes here and there. Solid 8th and ninth positions in Japan, Italy, San Marino, and Great Britain. Marat is with us once again for footwork, had a very good 7th in Kyalami, has had a difficult season with retirements and DNQs here and there. Zach Brown, point scorer for Larousse, a 6th in Donington. Owen Potter of Ligier, he's had a 3rd and a 5th. The 3rd in Brazil, the 5th in Germany. Alexis Spirchev now leaving the pits. He's had a difficult but impressive, again, regularly well-performing career. With 3rd in Kyalami, 4th in Brazil, 4th in San Marino, 3rd in Monaco. A surprising disqualification in Donington, 4th in Italy, 4th in Japan. There's Ronan Griffin, 7th in the standings of the Drivers' Championship. Struggled a lot with active suspension, but he's gotten a very, very consistent string of 5th and 6th place finishes. As we see pit crews littered throughout the... well, there was a few pit crews out, I believe. We'll be seeing a lot more of them, I'm sure, later on. See if any of the championship protagonists. There's Lewis Wedding himself, ready to do the last dance, I'm sure, to try and get this title. There's a bit of lag on track at the minute, but hopefully it'll settle down as we go into the race session. One thing that the VFU administration is trying to work on as we look at a very beautiful Adelaide circuit structure from the helicopter view. So there's going to be a lot to play for. A very interesting Grand Prix that's going to take place. A minute to go until the start. Be tuning in shortly for the Australian Grand Prix to get underway. We'll catch you in a minute. And we've ticked over to the race session as the cars are preparing themselves on the grid for this Australian Grand Prix. Very shortly we will undergo the formation lap and see the starting order for this race. And the formation lap has begun. Your pole sitter, hometown hero Lewis Wedding, followed by the Williams of Nicholas Kirsten and Jules Bouchard. Ferrari lockout 4 and 5 with Karol Ostrolek and Alexei Spirichev, while Benetton lockout 6 and 7 with Moises Pereira and Ronan Griffin. Brendan Ross, 8th for Tyrrell, 9th is Yoni Kovisto for Lotus, 10th is Zach Brown for La Cruz, 11th is German Korolev for Minardi, 12th is Evgeny Sidorenko for Lotus, 13th, a rather strangely poor qualifying for Owen Potter for Ligier, 14th, Nick Holliday for Tyrrell. He's battling sickness at the moment, but let's hope he has a good race. Marat Nabulian has 15th for footwork, and last but not least is Alberto Sartori for Larousse. So back to the front as the cars quickly, briskly get through the formation lap to get this Australian Grand Prix underway. Nearly 40 laps of entertainment for us tonight to witness here from Adelaide. Drivers doing their last burnouts and weaving terribly much to get as much heat into the tires and hopefully not lose it all. As they come to a standstill on the start. The final race of the 1993 season. It's been a long and difficult road, but here we are as the lights prepare to go out. And the Grand Prix is underway. Smoke from the tires as everyone burnouts off the line. It's a little bit laggy into T1. Let's see if there's any need for a restart, as we've been battling with the lag for quite some time, but it seems everyone is okay, although Lewis did lose a position on that start. Server seems to be settling down a bit now as the cars go halfway through this quick but busy street circuit lap. So Kirsten leads, Lewis second, Jules third. That looks like Karol and Moises fourth and fifth. And there's a huge accident at the kink. It looks like a multi-car accident, and that's going to cause the server to go crazy, and it could be a red flag. There's a massive accident. Parts everywhere. Someone clipped that curb and went straight into the tire barrier, and it's caused all kinds of mayhem. I'm sure there's going to be a red flag. That seemed horrific. It was a Tyrrell that went off there. And that is definitely going to warrant a restart. That debris went everywhere. And as you know from Monza, we are dealing with a little bit of server issues at the moment. So big accidents like that is going to definitely cause a huge technical issue. As well as generally just debris and cars being strewn across the track in general. We'll see what's going on further up the road. Yeah, it's definitely causing huge lag issues. Who was that? Looks like one of the admins has stopped. And I believe this race is going to be restarted, so it will be a case of second time's the charm. for the Australian Grand Prix, as we did have in Monza. As you can see, the car's lagging a lot. There was a huge, huge accident. Huge accident at the kink. Although it seems the Grand Prix is still continuing. Wondering if there's going to be a red flag. And I believe there is a red flag as cars are pulling over, and this definitely looks like red flag activity to me, because there was a massive, massive multi-car accident. And yes, indeed, there is a red flag. So yes, they've rolled back to warm-up, because that was a huge, huge crash. Huge. So we'll see what the situation is on the track, and we will report back shortly. And we're back. So there has now been an official restart given. And we are on the formation lap for the restart of the Australian Grand Prix. A huge accident triggered server lag issues that needed to have the race stopped for. So with that, all cars were able to rejoin the grid. There were no official DNFs. And we have our starting grid once again with Lewis Wedding, number 1, 2, Nicholas Kirsten, followed by 3, Jules Bouchard. So that's Williams 2-3 lockout, followed by the 4-5 lockout of Karol Ostrozolek and Alexei Spirchev. 6 and 7 is Moises Pereira and Ronan Griffin. 8 is Brendan Ross. 9th is Oni Kovisto. 10th is Zach Brown. 11th is German Kurev. 12th is Evgeny Sidorenko. 13th is Owen Potter, 14th is Nick Holliday, 15th is Marat Nubulian, and 16th is Alberto Sartori. So cars are going to give this another cautious shot. It's been a long season dealing with the server issues, which actually hurt the opportunities of broadcasting our races for quite some time. It's only in the recent last couple of weeks where a return to broadcasting was seen as feasible. So all fingers crossed the final race of the year does get done today and not postponed. Although it's looking hopeful as all 16 drivers for this Grand Prix settle onto the grid, waiting for the lights to go out, engines being revved, and away we go for the second time this evening. Ludwig gets a better start. It was 3 wide going into the first corner briefly. There's been a couple of corner cuts. No horrific dramas there. That probably looked a lot worse than it was, although Lewis is still the leader. There's no accidents yet. There's Moises getting 3rd place away from Kirsten. So lag has hurt, the second start has hurt the Williams drivers as they've gotten split up. But it seems like a clean start. Now here is the kink that caused a lot of problems for the first time. But it seems people are safe. As there's another large accident. I just heard, indeed I did. I heard a Ligier clart the wall. So there's a big accident. And Owen Potter is out of the Australian Grand Prix, although it seems things are still continuing. And now, Jules Bouchard is in the position he needs to be if he wants to be world champion. And it's up to Lewis to make more mistakes to give him the point separation he needs. Because he needs to be 4th for Jules to be champion. And Nicholas must get past Jules somehow. Or, not Jules, but Lewis. To heighten those chances of a title for the Canadian. Server does seem to be settling down now, as the cars stream through the streets of Adelaide. So battle going on down there for about 12th position. Let's have a look. It's Marat and Zach Brown, as well as Evgeny Sidorenko. Lag seems to be improving, so this Grand Prix is definitely getting settled underway. There's a lot of flat spots there on Evgeny's right front. So he'll have to manage that tyre as best as he can. LaRousse is 12 and 13. Tyrrell is 14th. Karol is 15th, so he's had damage. Presumably an unplanned pit stop for the pole. Meanwhile, Jules is being hounded by the hometown driver of Lewis for this driver's title. They are nose to tail, and I'm sure his teammate is going to want to get involved there too. Salvatore isn't there to assist Lewis tonight, so it's going to be a single-man effort for the McLaren team. Fourth is Moises, so he was quickly passed by Kirsten. Fifth is Spirichev, sixth is Ronan, seventh Kovisto, eighth is German, who's doing a Herculean effort to improve the finishing position of that Minardi in the last couple of races. Brendan Ross, 9th, 10th of Evgeny Sidorenko, 11th Marat. Oh, and 12th is an unstable Zach Brown, but he seems to have hung in there. 13th Alberto, 14th Nick Holiday, and still 15th is Carroll. Let's keep up with the battle up here as we go on to our fourth lap. Usually things are at its best at the fourth lap, and the lag definitely calms down quite a bit. It was unfortunate what happened to Owen Potter. Must have just gotten the kink all wrong and hit the curbing, and was tossed up off the curbing and hit the tire barrier on the opposite end. Very similar to how Mika Hakkinen went out and he had some injuries. Quite a lot of injuries. But he was okay in the end and he returned to Grand Prix. So these three are absolutely together, might I say. Williams, McLaren, Williams, and it will be a 39-lap chess match to see who comes out on top. This is a very unideal position for the Australian, being sandwiched between the two. Oh, and that's Jules going wide. Is that an opportunity for the Australian? Not quite yet, almost. He's had an attempt, it seems. Let's check down the field if anything's happened. Quite a bit of lag. And Joni Kovisto is in the pit, so he's probably hit something. That is definitely an unplanned pit stop. Is there any crews else in the pits? No, it is just Joni. And Carroll streams past for P14. So that'll be the first of his charge to try and get some points back for Ferrari in this race. And Nick Holiday has netted one position so far. He looks like he's running well, chasing down the LaRousse of Alberto. This is going to be a nice battle to check up on. Moises is out of the Australian Grand Prix. No other pit crews out, so that he didn't collide with anyone else. Maybe he collided with Joni, who knows. But he's out of the Australian Grand Prix. I don't see any damage on his retired car. Could have been a failure this early in the Grand Prix, perhaps. Despite this, we'll press onward. The top three still the same as ever. But it looks like Lewis is going to have a real good opportunity to overtake the Canadian here. He's in the draft. A lot of weaving going on. He's going to try and get it done around the outside. Doesn't quite fit. Let's check down the field again in a moment. We did have this lag before when someone had a hefty accident. 6 laps in now. Not currently. There's the top three as they go. There's no other drama happening on track, but it seems there is still quite a lot of lag. Which would be a shame. Oh, it's because there's a massive accident at the kink again. Someone has hit the kink wrong, and it's Alberto Sartori. So Alberto has had a huge accident, and that is the cause of that issue. Let's see if anything changes. Alberto must have gone out the same way a lot of other drivers went out there. Just didn't get the entry to the kink correct enough and went straight on into the tire barriers. It is not looking hopeful at the moment, with a lot of issues with the server that will be worked out in the new year. We are planning on building a new server PC. There's Afghani coming back into the picture. I think they're going to press on. I'd be surprised if they red flagged this, but I will keep an eye on it for the moment. That server lag, the debris causes a lot of issues with the game, whether it be collision detection or some other kind of netcode related issue. We're not sure, but it seems like things are steadily coming back to normal after that heavy crash at the kink. We'll be back shortly. We'll see what the stewards say about the situation. And we're back after some technical difficulties. Things have calmed down server side, and we are still going underway. Not much happened apart from a lead change, which I'm unfortunately not able to cover, as we must press on with the stream. But Lewis Wedding is now back in lead of the race. Nicholas Kirsten second, Jules third. Still quite a bit of lag, as you can see. Alexis Spirichev's fourth, Ronan fifth, sixth is Brendan Ross for Tyrrell. So a lot happened there. Seventh is German, eighth is Evgeny, ninth is Carol, and 10th is Yoni Kovisto. Marat is 11th, being lapped shortly. 12th is Nick Holliday. And our latest retirement is Zach Brown. So you can see those desecrated LaRousse chassis. Not the way they probably hoped to end the season. So as we continue, in the 15th lap of the Grand Prix, still quite a little bit of lag. The drivers are coping well, because despite this, they're still going quite smoothly, but it does make it a lot harder to do my job. And it looks like the first planned pit stop of the evening has been called. Let's see pit lane activity. Yes, indeed, the Williams team has prepared to receive Nicholas Kirsten. Oh, the stop looks like it's been cancelled. So perhaps Kirsten pushed an accidental wrong button in the moment. And Ludwig is pulling out, or Lewis is pulling out a pretty comfortable gap of 2 seconds to the Williams, although traffic may change that. I'll be back to check server side ping if it is improving.